As someone who loves movies, I'm always on the hunt to watch something new. I spend a lot of time reading up on film festivals, reviews, and checking up on the new movies that are coming out. But there's something really special about stumbling upon a movie with no expectations and finding yourself loving it. And that was my experience with the 2007 indie cult classic Waitress, directed by Adrian Shelley and starring Kerry Russell. You might have heard of Waitress from the hit play that came out around 2016 starring Sarah Bareilles. I actually saw a version of the play in London a few years ago, and while it was quite cute, I don't know if it lived up to the original film, or if people even know it's based on a movie. So today I want to talk about Waitress, and why you should watch this underrated gem.
Honey, Earl's on the phone.
Tell him I'm busy.
You don't talk to him, I might come over here cause a scene again.
Yeah, okay.
Can I ask you a question? Is it my imagination, or is my left one drooping down even more today? I'm starting to feel like something Picasso would have made.
Do me a favor, hun. Get old Joe some OJ, no ice, or I'll bite your head off, and some salt and pepper.
You got it.
Waitress stars Kerry Russell as Jenna, an unhappily married waitress in the Deep South who learns she's pregnant while trying to figure out how she can leave her abusive husband Earl. With the help of her two friends and coworkers, Becky and Dawn, she falls into an unlikely affair with her gynecologist, Dr. Pomander. She also is really good at making pies. Like, really good. The film was written and directed by Adrian Shelley, who also plays the character of Dawn. Shelley was an actress and filmmaker who was in a number of indie hits during the 90s and early 2000s. Her film was accepted into Sundance in 2007, but tragically, Shelley was murdered in her New York City apartment just 3 months before the movie's premiere. She tragically never got to see people watch her wonderful film. Now, I personally don't want to get into her murder and would rather talk about her very lovely movie, but if you are interested, you can read up on it online. I think what really grabs me about Waitress is the tone the film immediately sets. Even though the film is dealing with some relatively difficult and complicated issues at times, it balances them so well with this cute and fun humor and some really smart writing. The dialogue is witty and every character pops off the screen. The film is also incredibly efficient, kicking off the plot immediately. In the first few minutes we know Jenna's motivations, what her life is like, and why she's struggling with such a difficult decision. It's not a complicated movie, but it's very effective at communicating exactly what it wants to say. Shelley's script for the most part here is airtight. In terms of direction, it's not the most visually complicated movie. The compositions are relatively simple and even a few that seem a bit off, but I think the tone, the set design, and the color palette kind of make up for any of those discrepancies. I really love the soft color palette that gives this film such a warm and inviting atmosphere, which Shelley uses with such efficiency to shock us when the film begins to tackle more difficult subject matter. The color palette uses a lot of colors associated with babies too, like light blues and pinks, that I think help allude to the inevitable baby that's on the way. The sequences with the most style are definitely the pie sequences when Jenna's inventing a new one in her head. I love the simplicity of these scenes, but how they speak volumes about her character and her thought process. Just look at these.
Earl murders me because I'm having an affair pie. You smash blackberries and raspberries into a chocolate crust. I can't have no affair because it's wrong, and I don't want Earl to kill me pie. Vanilla custard with banana. Hold the banana.
The score is also great and I think plays a key part in balancing that tone. Now, we have to talk about the characters, because it's easily the best part of the movie. Each character feels so fully realized in I think pretty unique ways. Kerry Russell as Jenna is absolutely wonderful and adds so much texture to her character. She commands so much power as lead actress even when she's playing a character that can be relatively passive. There's so much warmth and tenderness in her performance. I like how she completely changes when talking to Earl, her abusive husband, how she quiets down and deals with him in the simplest ways possible, but she has this internal strength that she really lets show in the back end of the movie. I think she totally owns in this role. This movie would not be the same without her.
Well, what do you want?
I want to see you again. I want to talk to you somewhere outside of here. Maybe we could have a coffee or something.
I can't have coffee. It's on the bad food list you gave me. What kind of doctor are you?
Well, you don't have to have coffee. You could have water or fruit juice.
Becky and Dawn are also great in their respective roles. I think Shelley is initially playing with the ideas of these two characters as tropes. Becky is the sassy friend and Dawn is the awkward friend, but I appreciate that as the film goes on, these characters are just given a bit more to chew on. They're funny and they play off Jenna really well, but they also have a lot of personality. There's a scene late in the film where Becky talks to Jenna outside the pie shop, and you realize how complex a woman like Becky really is. And while the film is about Jenna, that doesn't mean there aren't people going through complicated emotions at the same time. Nathan Fillion as Dr. Palmer is also very fun, and gives an intentionally very goofy and awkward performance here. I wouldn't call him a standout or anything, but I think he serves this role very well. I think what I like about this performance is you can kind of tell Jenna and him aren't perfect for each other, but they just kind of work. And sometimes you just find someone that you just connect with, and that's enough. And now we gotta talk about Earl, played by Jeremy Sisto, who is outstanding. He is so underrated in this film and is such an incredibly well-written antagonist, and I think because his character feels so real and lived in playing Jenna's abusive, controlling husband. What I find so compelling about him is how sad and pathetic he is. It would have been so easy for Shelley to write him as some one-dimensional bully, but she's smarter than that, and gives him so much more to do. He's a loser, he's incredibly insecure, and he's obsessed with Jenna, and for all the wrong reasons. The way he thinks about his relationship to Jenna and her duty to him as a wife I thought was really well written, and genuinely caught me off guard. He has moments that are scary and shocking, but there's a lot of moments of vulnerability, which I think help highlight how abusers are really more three-dimensional than we let on in media sometimes, and that they might present themselves in certain ways. The way he tries to control her is sickening, but his performance is really one of the most crucial aspects of the film. One second you're laughing at him for being such a moron, and then the next you're scared for Jenna's safety. It's a balancing act that Sisto pulls off so well. The other supporting characters are also really fun. Ogie, Cal, and especially Old Joe. His scenes are a highlight for sure.
This afternoon, I want the singing tuna fish casserole, no pickle on the plate, well done Frenchy fries with melted Swiss cheese and gravy on their own plate, and Jenna's special strawberry chocolate oasis pie. You got that?
I got that.
Now, I'm not from the Deep South, but I think one of the messages the film is getting at is that people from these small towns tend to get stuck. They settle into a life they really didn't want for themselves, and sometimes will do what they can to find joy again. A lot of the film deals with the idea of adultery, and I appreciate how it doesn't necessarily judge these characters for their actions. People are messy and complicated, and just because they are doing something that might be considered wrong doesn't make them inherently bad people, at least in these particular circumstances. There's always more going on underneath the surface, and I think Shelley's use of tone in the film really highlights that. There's not a lot going on for these characters here, and they just want to do what they can to make themselves happy. And I won't spoil it, but I think the ending of this film is really great and ties the story together quite well. It really leaves a smile on your face. There were so many of these low-key indie films from the early 2000s that sprang up around this time. Lars and the Real Girl, Garden State, Little Miss Sunshine. This even came out the same year as Juno. And I know this movie has been out for quite some time now, but I hope as the years go on people can appreciate just how lovely and enjoyable this film is. It's smart, it's funny, it has great characters. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel, it's just a nice, easy movie. And sometimes that's all you need. It's a bittersweet slice of life story that is definitely worth watching.
Dawn, you're beautiful. Your skin looks like a normal person's. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you've seen Waitress before, let me know what you think of it down below. If you have any recommendations for something you'd like me to cover in the future, also let me know down below. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks guys, bye.